Still my number one.
Yeah. But cuma untuk purpose team better jual lah di Gia.
Always
understand
number
lah.
one.
Oh, siap Bob.
Salam satu Malaysia. Welcome to Jom United. We are a Malaysian YouTube Manchester United. You can see Manchester United fan club channel. Okay, so we welcome everybody regardless of your race, your gender, your shape, your political affiliation. So bosku, if you're watching this bosku, jemput, join kita. Malu apa bosku? Jom Sembang United. Okay, so welcome guys. Our panel today, we got Ayrton, we got Jai Beckham, we got Doc Ligea, and we got Josh. How are you guys feeling today? Everybody say hi.
Hey guys.
Hi. Excited.
Hi.
Okay, so
Feeling
guys,
better than last week?
international break over. Finally, football is back. Okay, so we won 2-1. Okay, 3 points sealed. Okay, Champions League, I think most likely confirmed. So, what's your input on the game yesterday? Let's start with Doc.
Well, I think it wasn't the best game that we played this season. We didn't create that many chances as well, many clear-cut chances. But I think what we did show was resilience to come from behind and to get those 3 points. And eventually good teams win sometimes when they're not playing at their best. But I think most importantly for this weekend, we actually took advantage of all the slip-ups, Leicester, Spurs, Chelsea, and we also maintained our points gap with Liverpool despite their win. So overall, fantastic weekend for me.
So the point that you said that you mentioned about most teams, the good teams, they will win regardless whether they're playing well or not. Do you realize that all this while, right, that we are playing, every game for us is a difficult game for us. We have to grind every single game. So what's your input on that, Ayrton?
Well, actually, I disagree with Doc. I think we actually played pretty decent last night. I think among all the games that maybe because the standards that we set, we've been too low also lah. But yesterday's game was actually pretty all right. Chances were created. Team was playing actually some free-flowing football. Yeah, there are a few minor bugs here and there. But yeah, I think in all, the team actually played pretty well. We have a long way more to go. We are nowhere near City standard yet. But looking at it, Champions League spot is basically secured already. Just that now I'm just praying that Liverpool doesn't make it to the top 5 or top 4.
But you gotta think about it. If Liverpool, right, they don't make it to the top 4, top 5, next season they will only be playing for the league only, So dangerous also, So you gotta think about that also,
Honestly speaking, I just want them to shut up for one season and just don't talk to any. Can I curse on this podcast? Can I curse here? I just want them to shut that up for at least one season. There's no European football. They need some good sleep lah. So, never mind. It's okay. We can be zombies at work. They keep quiet on Facebook also as well.
Okay, Jai Beckham. Dulu yang podcast sebelum ni, kamu cakap yang team kita tak ada first 11 kita yang solid. Okay, so pada pendapat kamu yang first 11 yang start hari tu, adakah itu boleh katakan yang, of course, selain beberapa pemain that is our strongest first 11?
Pada saya, untuk first 11 ni, which is without De Gea dengan Martial, pada pendapat saya dia belum, it's not a first 11, tapi game semalam kalau kita nak ambil contoh game semalam, dia just biasalah macam biasa MU buat slow start, sangat slow, maksud dia chance pun tak ada, and then kita kena score dengan Albion kan, and then so pada saya first 11 tadi tu dah hampir dalam 80%, hampir. Tapi
so yang sorry I kena cut you sedikit. 80% yang 10% tu ialah De Gea, 10% ialah Martial, betul tak?
Betul. Correct. I agree with that.
Tak betul.
20% is De Gea, bro.
No. Tak betul juga.
So, macam mana baru boleh 100%? You jangan cakap nak beli siapa-siapa lah, nak jual siapa-siapa lah. Daripada team yang kita ada sekarang, apa ialah 100% untuk kamu?
Kita staykan Cavani tadi daripada Martial, and then kita staykan Dean Henderson untuk 2-3 game lagi. Mungkin kita akan nampak first 11 tadi. So De Gea boleh duduk dulu dekat bench.
So that means yang kamu cakap pemain semua yang ada, cuma maybe chemistry dia belum 100% lagi lah.
Yes, 20% tu lah chemistry masuk I.
Oh, I tak setuju lah. Okay, so going to the midfield lah. So this is quite some time since we actually see Paul Pogba with Fred and Bruno in the midfield. Okay, so Josh, what's your opinion on how they played yesterday as a team, the engine of our team?
I think yesterday I would expect, like, I think I would agree with Ariatan earlier. You know, we always sleep up sometimes after international breaks, right? And then everyone comes in and then to recalibrate again and play football again. And I was very actually grateful for the 2-1 win. Actually, we normally come back from international break either losing or drawing. So yeah, in terms of chemistry for the midfield, right? I think out of the three, surprisingly, Fred was the engine room of this. It allows Pogba and Bruno Fernandes to be as creative as they can. That's why the 2 assists came out of them. And what I see was the swapping positions between Bruno behind the striker and also Pogba behind the striker. I think that was what Fred able to do. He was pretty much the unsung hero yesterday. Of course, he was like pretty much, you know, getting the ball back, breaking down the attacks from Albion. And don't forget, Albion has just came up with a slight performance as well after winning 3-0 and previously beating Spurs and Liverpool. They have some form, right? And they had like 2 or 3 players from international scoring in the international break and coming back to the squad. So they were quite a good side. And I feel that out of the 3%, I think Fred was pretty much the engine room that allows Bruno and Pogba to make those kind of creativity.
Yeah, because I think Bruno and Pogba for the first half, they were actually quite, sloppy lah. I wouldn't say, you can see the idea that Pogba was actually very active, was running a lot, but they keep losing their balls, basically losing possession. All right, chill bros is only Monday. Losing possession of the ball and whatnot, right? So, let's go with Doc. Doc, for the first half, right, where do you see, right, our problem was apart from the midfield? What do you see?
I think we started pretty well. We started, normally, you know, we've seen in our last few games, we tend to start a bit slowly. I thought we started well, and then we kena 1 goal on the counter suddenly, right? And that was, I think, Lindelof has done this a few times. Very poor judgment of aerial balls, right? It's not the first time. And I think Bissaka should have been a bit tighter to his man as well. He should have been in front of his man, blocking off the route for the header, even though he expected Lindelof to clear, right? And these are the small things that sometimes make a difference. But I thought we started well. There was a good tempo about the way we were passing the ball. But again, tends to break down in the final third, especially when teams have players behind the ball, right? That final pass is just not coming off like it did last season. But I think in the end, you know, eventually we did show resilience to come back again from behind.
But I would say the first 6 minutes or so, the one where Greenwood hit the post and whatnot, that one they were pretty good. But once the goal went in, right, you notice a dip in their performance, their head drop and stuff like that. And then I feel they were a bit lost. What do you think about that, Aritan?
Well, sometimes you feel like, I see like when you guys mentioned like Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes misplaced passes, but hey, they were trying stuff, and that's what you want from your creative midfielders. I highly doubt players like Paul Scholes, so back in the day as well, got everything right. You know, that's what we want from the players, to take risks. I think that's a mark of a United player. You know, you got to take risks. You got to try something. Hey, sometimes it doesn't come off, but that's the name of the game. Like at the end of the day, well, all the hits were dropped, but they were trying things. They were really, really trying things, and hope, and thank God, you know, the second half, you know, again, and Marcus Rashford, my God, I always say, I think I mentioned in my review also, like he's been lacking that killer instinct, and that is what, to have that killer and be selfish, just go and attack the goal, and my God, you'll be not as good as Kylian Mbappe lah, but just around there lah.
But Rashford actually tries to do that, you know, to be Kylian Mbappe, the Petaling Street version, you see. But the problem is I can remember twice. The guy actually went straight to the player. The same thing, even the commentator actually said, oh, he repeated the same thing. So what he did is basically ran into the wall, something like Daniel James kind of thing, but not as bad.
Sometimes I feel he's caught in two minds, like whether he want to pass or whether he want to shoot. That dude needs to make up his bloody mind, just like, when you want to feed the kids, yes, you want to feed the kids, that's your goal, right? Your goal is to score bloody goals. Yes, please do that. So yes, that's all I want to say about him.
But we always look more dangerous with Rashford in the team. Whether or not, his runs and all sometimes don't come off. But when he's not there, you really feel that loss of impetus going forward. I would definitely prefer him to be there. I would definitely prefer him to take on players because he has the capability to beat them and actually set up a lot of goals as well.
Yes.
And only thing is probably the only grouse I probably have with him is sometimes finishing. Especially the easy chances, sometimes he tends to put it wide and things like that. But if he can actually get a bit sharper in front of goal, he would be fantastic.
Oh, exactly, man, exactly. I also want to mention yesterday, it was nice to see that all three goal scorers were from our academy. So yeah, that was a nice touch as well for the game.
Okay, so let's talk about the goal that we conceded. Okay, so Josh, who do you think is responsible for the goal?
Okay, first of all, I think I would give a bit more credit to Brighton because it was a really excellent goal. I would say the cross was really pinpoint right in the middle, in between the defense and the goalkeeper, which makes it really hard for even any goalkeepers, including De Gea, to come out sometimes, But I think that pinpoint pass was really good. And Welbeck being Welbeck, using his experience, going in between the two defenders and getting the header, right? So that was a brilliant goal to save for the Leeds. If you were to ask me who was at fault, I would clearly say Wan-Bissaka, because he is at right back and he should have everything, the whole yard in front of him. If he feels that Lindelof is not marking or he has to mark Welbeck, he should take the initiative to do it. And he just went blindly with his head turned the other way around and bang on Welbeck. And Welbeck, as a striker, he did one good header, good save by Henderson, but of course the rebound, he got back and got a goal. But I think Wan-Bissaka really could have done much better. Of course, Lindelof, the judgment was terrible. I think that judgment of header it literally combed his hair and went to Welbeck, and Welbeck able to see that header. I think that was pretty amateur football, I would say, the defense. But no doubt, I have to give credit to Brighton. The ball came in right in the middle of the defense and the goalkeeper, and the goal came in. So yeah, pretty much effort to be done by the defense. I think more need to be done there.
Lepas ni Jai cakap jual Wan-Bissaka juga.
Oh wait, that's why I'm moving on. Actually, supposed to. That's why I save it.
It's a setup.
So Josh, shit, everything kita panaskan semua benda. Okay, Jai, can you apa pendapat kamu Lindelof dengan Wan-Bissaka?
Okay, Lindelof dengan Wan-Bissaka, maksud dia apa?
Pendapat kamu jual ke tak jual lah?
Oh. Maybe Lindelof kita letak kat Shopee ataupun Lazada. Sebab memang almost this season memang kita boleh kira banyaknya Lindelof punya mistake yang boleh menjadikan gol ataupun tak. Tapi memang ada banyak mistake daripada Lindelof. Wisaka, I tak faham bila game dia akan masuk ke dalam. Itu yang saya tak betul-betul tak boleh nak. Kenapa strategi ataupun Ole ada bagi dia explain kena masuk. Sebab bila you win back kan, you kena ada dua pair yang paling bagus, Maguire dengan Lindelof. Tapi Lindelof tak boleh buat kerja. Maguire kadang-kadang sloppy kan. So memang kalau pendapat I, memang mistake macam semalam punya gol memang daripada Lindelof lah. Dia memang tak dia awareness dia sangat poor lah, sangat kurang. Jadi sebelum ni pun ada game yang sama, dia buat benda yang sama. So macam dia tak belajar dengan mistake yang sebelum ni. So as a macam penyokong memang nampak dia punya kesilapan lah. Dia punya solution jual Amazon lah.
Ini jual lah. Inisiatif dia tak ada lah, inisiatif.
So
dia macam tak progress tau, macam tak ada progress langsung tau. Sebab bila dia buat mistake hari ni, semalam dia buat mistake lain, hari sebelum tu dia buat mistake lain. So benda tu mistake. Surrounding dia semua mistake. And then Maguire I tak tahulah. Dia pair mungkin tak ngam dengan dia ke tak pasti. Tu yang itu memang
Maguire tu kurang sikit. Ada member beli baju RM400 tu.
Can I just say something about Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah.
I mean, we should also remember that he wasn't actually a defender. He was actually a winger, right, at Crystal Palace. And then during training, I think he performed very well against Zaha, and they moved him into a sort of a right back role. So he's quite new to that role. He had, I think, about 2 seasons there, and then he has about 2 seasons here. So I think what his strengths are: one-on-one defending. Those spider-long legs. He can wrap themselves around the player, take the ball, right? But sometimes a bit suspect on positioning, especially when the ball is on the opposite side. Sometimes he either tends to tuck in too much or he doesn't tuck in enough, right? And I think an experienced right back or somebody who's been playing in right back for a long time would have already yesterday made sure that Welbeck could not get that run inside. They would have blocked off that run so that even if Lindelof missed the ball, there's no chance of Welbeck reaching it. And sometimes that is a bit of the naivety we see with him. I think going forward, sometimes his crossing is also not that great, but he's very skillful on the wings. He makes, a lot of tricks. He actually gets past people, but final ball needs to work on. So I think these are some of the things it eventually depends on the coaching team. They need to actually identify these problems and fix it. But he's a wonderful talent, and I wouldn't jual him, Najai.
No. Bissaka I tak jual. Jangan risau.
Okay.
I takkan jual. Rashford I tak jual. Jangan risau.
So basically for this Bissaka, I agree. He's one-on-one. If he's one-on-one with the opponent, it's fantastic. I think he can pretty much pocket anybody. But his sense of positioning is one thing. That is an issue. I think it's been quite prominent this season.
Dominic, sorry, just to interrupt you a bit. Maldini once said, if I have to sliding tackle, that means I'm in the wrong position. So that Bissaka is always sliding tackle, right? So that itself will tell you that his positioning sometimes may be a little bit out. Yeah.
He will actually step back a bit to let the guy run in front of him. Then he will sapu from belakang, is it like a sweep kind of thing, is it? But then most of the time the accuracy is pretty good. I think there's only once he got yellow carded, if I'm not, as I remember.
Yeah, and one considered a penalty, only once.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I celah sikit? Boleh?
Boleh. Sila.
Masalah Bissaka sebenarnya datang daripada masalah dua defend tu. Itu je. Sebab once kalau dua defend ni boleh conduct you punya wing back dengan left back, problem tak ada masalah. Tapi sebab dua-dua ni problem, jadi kiri kanan pun problem. That's why kadang-kadang Shaw pun tak boleh nak cover kan. Bissaka, that's why bila you tak conduct the back four ni, problem lah. So the first one is Maguire dengan Lindelof. Dia betul, maybe kiri kanan okay.
Okay, so we bring us to the next point. This one, bring this point up. Modern day football for the left back and the right back, they expect them to move forward and attack. Okay, our left side, I think with Luke Shaw, I think we are pretty much there already. I mean, yesterday he was doing a lot of runs, crossing in and whatnot, doing a lot of skills here and there. Okay, but our right side seems to be lacking a bit. Okay, so Eriton, you got any input on this? The balance of our left side and our right side.
Well, yeah, you said it right on the nail. Like Luke Shaw, when it comes to attacking the field, from the left side, from the left wing back position, he got it pat down. The guy striking on the ball, even his crosses have been immaculate this season. Something that Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs to work on. The guy is great at defending the ball. Suspect with his positioning, but honestly speaking, if you compare Trent Alexander's game and also with Wan-Bissaka, I will still put Wan-Bissaka ahead of him in the next 5 years, because reason being, I think what Trent Alexander-Arnold cannot get the same amount defending that what Wan-Bissaka puts in. So that is trust me, 5 years down the line, we're going to see that England's right back is Aaron Wan-Bissaka without a shadow of a doubt, because Trent Alexander-Arnold can't track back to save his life. So I mean, like, you guys are hearing because I hate Liverpool so much, but that's just the freaking truth, you know. That's just the freaking truth, like, they already. Yeah, as a modern day right back, harping back to the case of Gary Neville also, like, even Dennis Irwin also as well. You need to overlap your right winger, and at the same time, so you need to cover your positions as well. I mean, like, Gary Neville would have suited very well in this modern era. I think he was ahead of his time, if you ask me, Gary Neville, in terms of that, that overlapping fullback, doing the crosses into the box, also coming back and coming at defend as well. So yeah, I think moving forward, like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, once he gets his crossing sorted, that guy will be a bargain at 50 million, like, if you ask me.
Definitely, I see the potential there. It's just that his end product, even the runs is getting better. Just the end product, the crosses is not coming. So at the moment, right, Josh, who do you think is our best right winger at the moment? Oh, Josh, are you there? I think he dropped out.
Best right back, is it? Or best right winger?
The right winger. Okay, assuming that now, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is improving. So how about our right winger to, how to say, like from the left side, Luke Shaw and Rashford, you can see the chemistry going on there, is it? So who do you think is best suited for the right? He just dropped out. Okay, no problem. Let's go to Jai. Right wing, siapa yang akan lagi sesuai pairing dengan Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Greenwood. Mason Greenwood.
But tapi Greenwood, you rasa dia more to a number 9 position. Dia macam from the right, dia I think the past few game dia dah start belajar sedikit lah. Maybe kena sound ke apa, he start doing some crosses in, but most of the time before this dia macam he will just cut in and do his skill and dia nak cuba score. So selain daripada Greenwood, maybe ada orang lain you rasa siapa? Dah semua dah jual lah.
Tu lah. Yang daripada MU sendiri ke ataupun dekat luar?
Daripada MU, daripada current squad kita sekarang.
Danny, sorry, dah jual. But I think Greenwood boleh develop lah, actually. Boleh develop sebenarnya sebab dia pun got the potential. Maybe dia tak ada crosses sebab kita harapkan Wan-Bissaka untuk crosses. But for me, if you develop this guy, the Greenwood, Mason Greenwood, you can kita boleh progress the crosses actually.
So Josh, I rasa wasted lah kalau we Aaron Greenwood main ke right back, because he has a beautiful shot, man.
Yes, the guy is an instinct. He's a striker. He's meant to be a number 9. The goal he scored yesterday, that one is supposed to be scored by Cavani, but Cavani got taken out.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, Josh, maybe Josh, are you with us? Are you with us, Josh? Josh. So maybe to add on, maybe we need to look at Amad Diallo, because the guy, there's a lot of unknown, but there's a lot of hype going on about him. So, or maybe there's a Daniel James or something. What do you think, Doc, on the right side?
If you ask me, I think it's still Greenwood. And the reason I say that is because I think Greenwood is still not experienced enough to play the number 9 role. He's a wonderful finisher. I think the best we have in the club. He's got he can cut both ways. He can cut right, he can cut left. He's a wonderful talent. And I think if he develop well, he can actually become world class, right? But I think at the moment, he's not suited for a number 9 role. Simply why? Because he goes missing in games. He cannot really hold up the ball that well, but and doesn't make that kind of really number 9 kind of runs. But I think eventually what we will see is once he develops, he will move into that position, right? So maybe give another year or two and then move him. But I think currently on the right, he would still be the best. And why I say that is because, again, both feet, he can cut in and shoot, he can cut out and cross. And we saw that, with Ronaldo, Nani, even Nani, when he was playing on the right, he could cut in and shoot, or he could go on the outside. So when you're defending this kind of a player, you don't know which way he's going to go. He can go out, he can cut in, right? And that sometimes makes it very unpredictable and very difficult to defend against.
Yes.
Since we're talking about the number 9 position, okay, let's talk a bit about Cavani. Okay, yesterday from his body language, somehow, okay, everybody will always say that Marcel got body language and all this kind of stuff, but I think that guy is just cool, okay. But okay, like Cavani yesterday, right? In the second half, I think you can see his expression, his body language and stuff like that, and then pretty much he was like not much involved in the game yesterday. Okay, so maybe Ayrton, what do you think about Cavani, his future, and then probably when will be the right time for us to actually put Greenwood in? Because if just say, right, knowing our board and the way that we invest money and whatnot, probably if we can get, the sooner we can get Greenwood to take the number 9 position, we can actually save money and maybe use that resources somewhere else. Okay, Ayrton, to you.
I was thinking about this also. I mean, like yesterday also as well. Instead of spending that ridiculous amount of money on Haaland, why not give Greenwood a chance? But somehow or rather, when you look back throughout the couple of this whole season, actually, like Doc said, Mason Greenwood just isn't ready to fulfill that number 9 role. But at the same time, looking at Edison Cavani, you talk about his mood, on the field as well. It kind of like gives you the vibe like he doesn't want to be there, or maybe just that he just had an off day, let's put it that way. Probably he just had an off day. I don't want to think negatively about Edison Cavani because he's always been one of my favorite strikers, even before he joined United. But yeah, I think this is the opportunity. What's that word? Like the best time for Mason Greenwood to learn from one of the best strikers in the world. And one of the best finishers of the ball also as well. Edison Cavani has always been going to be a short-term project. It's never going to be a 2-3 year thing. 1 year, he's off to where is he from again? Colombia, Argentina?
Uruguay.
Uruguay. So he's going to go
Boca.
So he's going to go to Boca after this. Most definitely, he's going to go to Boca after this. So and all the best to him. That's what every Latin player's dream. From that part of the world to play for Boca Juniors. It's just like Madrid and United in Europe and the rest of the world. So this is the best time for him for Mason Greenwood to pick up just study Edison, because I don't think it'll be on the field or during the game time. I think it'll be on the training pitch where it makes most difference, where he'll learn the most. That's what I feel. Maybe next season, but I still think we need to sign a striker. We still need something that we know can guarantee us something, because somehow or other I still feel Mason is a bit too young. He's not Rooney. That time, remember when Rooney came 18 years old, scoring hat-tricks.
That guy is just a monster, man.
We never appreciated Wayne Rooney until he retired. I mean, looking back, we were too young to remember. After that, all these footballers, 22, 23, still considered young. Wayne Rooney has been begging them in since he was 18 years old, man.
I think he debuted for Everton. I think when he's 16, right? 16 years old. He was already playing, 16 years old for Everton. Okay, so let's move on to the next gem. For me, personally, I think the gem of the game, we saw some sparks of inspiration and talent, I would say. Van der Beek. Okay, so Josh, what's your opinion on Van der Beek yesterday, his contribution to the game yesterday?
Well, I still think he didn't have much time, but with that limited amount of time that was given to him, I think he did some very, very intelligent runs. He is always my shout for first 11 for him, because I think he just need at least 3 or 4 good 90 minutes for him, because like just now when we were mentioning about who will be the midfield maestro alongside him. I think with Bruno and Pogba alongside him, with maybe either Fred or McTominay holding the defense, these 3 can actually be so versatile, in the attack especially, because we are too dependent on Bruno, right? But Van der Beek's runs is so good that sometimes if you are a false 9 striker, you know that you can do a quick 1-2 with Van der Beek. You see that the previous game before this also, his dummy that led to the Greenwood goal again. I think he has a very good chemistry with Greenwood. I think he has that the mindset, the same wavelength with Greenwood. I think he's showing us, but it's just that whether he will have a chance or not, we will see lah.
Okay,
we have a lot of false number 9s lah.
Exactly. We got too many false number 9s. exactly.
I mean, Dom, I didn't want to hurt your feelings just now. I wanted to say that Martial can have
false lah, good.
Oh no, we're running out of time. Please, no negativity on Martial. Please, no negativity on Martial. We want to save time, or else habis 2 hours or so. You all cannot out talk me, man. Okay, now we are down to the last 10 minutes. Okay, let's bring us to the juicy topic of tonight. Hendo in goalkeeper position. Okay, Hendo in goalkeeper position. We got Doc start. What's your opinion?
No, number 1 for me is still David De Gea. I think simply the experience that he brings to the back line. And I think also, keeping goal for United, and I said it in the previous discussion as well, is not the same as keeping goal for smaller clubs like Sheffield. I mean, no disrespect, but Sheffield United and things like that. Because, you know, when you're at a club where it's defending most of the time, you're pretty much in the game all the time, right? Whereas at a club like the bigger clubs like United, Chelsea, and we've seen a lot of keepers struggle because it's that experience that you need, and also that focus and concentration. You know, you may not see the ball for like 89 minutes, and then you know in the last minute there's an attack, and that's when you really need that kind of concentration. And we saw a glimpse of it against AC Milan. It was a straightforward header to Henderson. He was off position, straight at him. He couldn't save that. I mean, it happens now, of course, but it's an example. And to me, why De Gea is still number one. He had a dip in form last couple of seasons, but I think this season we've not seen any like mistakes from him, really bad mistake from him. And I think he saved us on some of the games as well. But eventually, I think Hendo will take over. But I think, you know, you need to give him some confidence, some run of games here and there. But for me, De Gea is still number one. Okay, Jai. Apa pendapat kamu? Hendo ke De Gea?
Okay, Hendo ke De Gea. Hendo, De Gea, actually Hendo ialah England punya collapse dah panggil, and the few games pun dia dah main. But for me now, sekarang lah De Gea still nombor satu lah.
Tapi kau yang cakap nak jual dia sekarang, kau ikut tolong lah. Kau make up your mind please lah.
Dom, sekejap. Belum habis cakap lagi. Cuma
still my number one.
Ya. But cuma dengar, cuma untuk purpose team, better jual lah De Gea.
Always
understand
number
lah.
one.
Oh, siap bawa batu.
You should understand.
So, jangan cakap pasal duit lah. Pasal untuk contribution to the team daripada segi complete the first 11, jual atau simpan?
Jual. Sebab game Hendo dengan game De Gea dah lebih kurang je. Tak ada lebih, tak ada kurang.
I tak setuju.
Sebab
I tak setuju. Sorry bro, I tak setuju.
Guys, De Gea will always be number one at heart, but on the pitch is now Henderson. We have to move on, guys. Please, we cannot put in De Gea already. It's time to move on.
But
we
if
always
no one
have a
talk about,
soft spot for De Gea. That's
see,
why.
right? When we are talking about this, right?
Betul.
But shouldn't we, right? At least like for now, because if really we are selling De Gea, shouldn't we give him the run of games because he's in form? So of course, when he's in form and he plays well, his value will actually go up. So instead of putting him on the bench, suddenly out of nowhere he just disappear like that, right? So probably his value in the market probably will depreciate. So what do you think about that, Ayrton?
You know what? I'm going to say something that some people might just laugh at me, but on his day, David De Gea is still the best goalkeeper in the world.
Oh,
I said it. David De Gea on form is the best goalkeeper in the world. You know, people might say about sentimental, all that kind of thing, but yes, I agree with Jai, and I agree with Doc also as well. I'm going to combine their 2 points into one. Number one, David De Gea is our number one goalkeeper. He is the best goalkeeper in the world on form. And yes, he has a dip this past few years, but when he is on his day, my God, Jan Oblak, eat your heart out lah. David De Gea is the number one guy lah. And also,
the Arsenal game was like,
yes. Oh, that game,
guys,
no shadow block.
Guys, takkan.
Nanti, aku nak masuk dah point kau. For the sake of the team, next year, Hendo should be number one, and De Gea should go. It's time to move on. Already. And Hendo coming through our academy, proven himself. I mean, he's not as good as De Gea yet. Don't get me wrong. He's not as good as De Gea yet. But I feel, given time, given the run of games, he will get there. He will not be Pick De Gea. Pick De Gea was like Super Saiyan 3, you know. Super Saiyan 3 level. That is Pick De Gea lah. Macam game Arsenal tu lah. That one is betul-betul lah. Kau tumbuk dia pun macam tu pun mati oh. Tapi Hendo is a good replacement, and it's time. De Gea is getting paid way too much. We need to clear the wage bill a bit. Give him his dream move to Madrid lah. Go.
The fax machine should be okay already lah now.
The fax machine should be right. Honestly speaking, that fax machine now was our star player the past.
I give you all another example. Romero, wonderful backup keeper. You know, even in the games he played, he was fantastic. But do you remember the time now, speaking of that broken fax machine, when De Gea had the contract issue and Romero stepped in, he made mistakes, in that few run of games. Because what you see is, like even Hendo and all, you see them on and off, they play well. But when you're given a long run of games, 30, 40 games, there may be other issues that you might see. Well, who knows? But definitely Hendo will be a future number one. But for me, De Gea is still number one currently.
Yeah.
Dok. Boleh cakap tak, Dok?
Boleh.
Boleh.
Cakap tak boleh mah. Don't give chance to dog. You give a nice thing. Jangan bagi dia potong mah. Aduh.
No. Okay. Dia kelebihan Hendo ni sebenarnya yang I nampak, dia main dengan jiwa dia tau. Dia bukan macam Romero, dia bukan macam Ligran apa semua, bukan. Dia main dengan jiwa dia. That's why macam siapa ni cakap tadi, kita kena bagi chance untuk Hendo, and then De Gea kita boleh move on.
Bro, dia dah bagi jiwa untuk 10 tahun dah bang.
Yeah, because
I tahu.
I would say that because you see,
bukan 10 game, 10 tahun.
The academy have 10 slots in the starting 11, but goalkeeper there's only one. You just have to admit De Gea is number one in our hearts, but move on. Let's go with Henderson and give us our full support. I think he deserves it, and I think he could be one of our critical players in the next 5 to 6 years, or even 10 years to come.
Okay, guys, we are down to 2 minutes. Okay, we don't have much time left. Okay, let's just go straight. Man of the match, Ayrton. Who is your man of the match yesterday?
Oh, Paul Pogba, man. I think he had one of his best games of the season in the United shirt. Like the guy was trying chances. I think he created like what 8 chances, not mistaken. So yeah, Paul Pogba for me, man. Shows how important Paul Pogba is to the team. And you can see heaven and earth when McTominay and Fred plays there, and when Paul Pogba and one of those play together with Bruno in front, heaven and earth, totally different. So Paul Pogba, man of the match.
Okay, Doc, who's your man of the match?
I would actually give it to Greenwood, not for just the goal, but for once, yesterday he was like a constant threat. He was picking up the ball, running at players. He hit the post. He scored the equalizer. I thought he was easily the best player on the pitch for us.
Okay, move on. Josh, who's the man of the match for you?
Yeah, I would say totally Mason Greenwood, and I think he was the electric over the whole team from the first until the 90 minutes. All right, and then similarly, I think last season Mason Greenwood, the last 10 games he would be on his top form. Watch out for him in the next 8 games. I think he will be our guy who's getting the goals in.
Okay, Jai, siapa man of the match untuk kamu?
Sama Mason Greenwood. Dia memang banyak chance, then create chance sendiri, and then the first thing dia score by header, and the hashtag kita beli Sam Johnston.
Macam Pogba lah,
bro.
Okay, I think we're at the very end. For me, the man of the match will be Bruno lah, because I think both goals he was involved, and then regardless how bad he played, he will always contribute to the team lah. Okay, so guys, thank you for being on the show. Okay, so for all those who is new to this channel, please like and subscribe and share. Yes, United all the way. So we will see you guys in the next game. That will be the Europa game. All right, the quarterfinals Europa. All right, glory, Man United. All right, guys.
Number one,
guys.
Always number one.
Hey, obviously, money to buy you one this Henderson patong also lah.
You have to keep goal for 10 years before you get the patong, bro.